Episode 262, How to Get to Growth Mode.
You're listening to the very best podcast in the world on health, wealth, and happiness. Please remember to leave a review and share with all your friends and family. And here is your host, Lars Hilser.
And one more night till the birthday of the very best podcast in the world, your only source in the universe for personal supremacy through health, wealth, and happiness. So I'm totally psyched, despite the fact that you can't probably not determine it from my voice, because I've been keeping busy the last couple of days contemplating and reflecting and I don't know what to do with that episode that's coming up tomorrow. Am I going to fill it with stats and bore you to death? Or am I going to, reflect upon I have no fucking clue as of yet. So therefore, be surprised as I will be. Then we're going to go in that hot seat tomorrow and see what's just gonna plop up there and what it's actually gonna burn down to. One other idea I had was, to just basically fill it up with user questions, and then, something interesting popped up in my inbox, which kind of stood out. It was a person that was in I don't know what to call it, in having made their home or the comfort zone their home there. Now we got it, right? So the comfort zone can be a very devious place, but it can also be a very liberating place. So there's no real one-sided answer to it, right? But this person wanted to get out of the comfort zone, despite the fact that they were in a very comfortable comfort zone. So I'll explain more right after we get into the housekeeping. So item number 1, sharing is caring. This podcast is altruistic, and it is supposed to fuck with all of those wallet rapists out there, the wallet rapists being my colleagues offering pretty much the same content, but at a very steep premium. And to prevent your friends and family from falling for those type of wallet rapists, please share this content extensively. That is my appeal. Because you like your friends and family, don't you? Right? So, item number 2 is, as always, views on my own, yada, yada, blah. And item number 3 is still in construction remodeling mode, and therefore episodes are going to be a bit more concise, a bit more down to the point, a bit shorter, and shouldn't really entice you to leave the show, period. So, sorry for the brief interruption. I had to step out for a few minutes. I'm not gonna give you TMI. So the mail that I talked about goes as following, and I'm only gonna take out the main fragments of it, just to save us all a bunch of time and to be able to keep the anonymity of the sender. So it goes, Dear Lars. First of all, thanks for a great show. You're very welcome. Then it goes down to I'm in a very comfortable position where technically I don't have to work. And, okay, great. And then the point coming after that, and that's very important, yet I can't seem to get rid of the bug, so I want to grow even further. Right? And that's a very important phrase we're going to have to get into in a moment. And then basically the last and most crucial point is, so from my position, how do I turn growth mode back on? Now, there's a few factors here that we're going to have to look into, right? You are in a comfortable position where you don't have to work anymore. That's really something a lot of people don't ever reach in their life. So they work their 9 to 5, and they are ingrained with the thought that, I'm only going to have to work 40 years and, raise the kids, plant a tree, build a blah. And then, I'm going to go into retirement. And then what most people forget is that your body is so deteriorated by that stage. That is well deserved. It's not like you're going to be able to work that same amount of time that, you did 20 years ago, right? 3 years ago, I took a long haul flight after many years of absence from any airport, really. And this was, close to a decade from my last long haul flight. And I was like, God damn it. First of all, the jet lag was excruciating, right? Then all of these numbnuts at the airport, with a double-digit IQ and a triple-digit income giving you hell, and you having to justify it, blah, blah, blah. And that just, it felt like hell, and that was my routine a decade before that, right? I would deal with these assholes permanently, and I had so much routine in it. But then I noticed, damn it, a decade has passed. It's like a totally different experience, right? And so anyhow, long story short, if you are, in that comfortable position, why would you want to leave, right? And that's where he goes in and says, I can't seem to get rid of the bug, so I want to grow even further. For me, that came to something very interesting where, my last occupation was really back to the roots as an information security professional. Interesting stuff started to happen. And, all of a sudden I said, good, I'm done here. Thank you very much. And then came a time of, I don't want to call it a sabbatical because it wasn't that. It was a time of really finding myself doing or trying to do absolutely nothing. And it turns out that you cannot do that, no matter how many drugs you take, no matter how much you, experiment with computer games, or, no matter how long you lock yourself in. There will come a point where you're going to say, okay, look, I got to get back on track here, right? This is not working out. My brain is melting, and where's the next challenge, right? That's true for a lot of us. And so for me, that resulted in meeting my better half and, living the, what would Paris Hilton call it, the simple life, but only in real time. And, that's where my life really started. And I had to learn a whole lot of shit from zero, right? So there are countless examples, which I don't want to bore you with right now. But, operating a chainsaw, safely is one thing that you want to learn, and if you live in the woods and, you have to make your own wood for the fireplace and so on and so forth. But all of these things, which were, unthinkable to me until that point, were challenges that I dealt with. And due to the fact that the stuff that I had to learn was so diverse, that life really slowed down. I was taken out of pretty much every routine that was there in my life. And, packing a suitcase, going to a hotel, finding your way through a city. Now it was like, okay, you got to find your way through the fucking forest. That's a totally different story, right? Those were the kind of things that I really learned and where I grew even further. So to get to the bottom line of the question, so where they say, so from my position, how do I turn growth mode back on? And it's challenging, right? But it's about finding something that triggers you, that keeps you interested over a longer period of time, ideally, and where you have to learn heap loads of stuff, right? It's not, I don't know, something bizarre, like go into art, and create art, be creative, right? Because thereby you will grow. And with every level of growth that you undertake, will you be able to then go ahead and say, look, I'm at a position where I created a painting, right? And then you go into sculpting, right? And then you go into I don't know what. But every evolution, every iteration of this process is going to provide you with a new set of skills, and thereby, we've been over this a million times in this podcast, slow down your life, right? Because if you are in that comfortable position where you don't have to do anything anymore, your life accelerates significantly because you've got your routines, right? You wake up, you read the paper, you go for a walk, you have lunch with friends, and then you come home to, read a book or whatever. At the end of the day, though, it's very, very, very routine driven, this lifestyle, right? Usually involves not so many healthy choices in food and beverages, be they alcoholic or not, and then takes this, along comes this insanely boring individuality, reclusiveness, and a lot of time with yourself. And that's what I had to really move out of. And learned really a lot of DIY stuff. It was like just recently I put in a new door. Now we're kind of painting windows, and all of that stuff goes a long way in keeping your mind entertained, keeping your mind busy, and expanding your skill set significantly, right? And so whatever it may be, to get you back into growth mode, you're going to have to find that yourself. You're going to have to find what stimulates you and what keeps you occupied for a longer period of time. Whatever it is, buy an old farm or an old house somewhere and restore it. That's very challenging, right? And you can create this masterpiece of a home without any idiot neighbors, left, right, and center, because you've got, 200 acres of property surrounding you, and you don't have any care in the world because you don't have any people to deal with, right? And should the need occur, you can invite people because your property is big enough to house, maybe a dozen people or something, right? To sleep a dozen people. There we go. Now, correct English. So anyhow, I think that pretty much answers the question, right? It's about finding what stimulates you, finding what triggers you. And even if you are in that 9-to-5 situation and you're comfortable there, think about springing out of that, and learning a new skill set, and go to university, even if you're 40, even if you're 50. Keeping your mind busy, stimulating your mind is one of the most important things you want to do in life, right? Whether you do something with your hands at the end of the day, like I do, or with your head, which I also do, right? That's entirely up to you. But it's about really finding something that stimulates you and getting that kick in the ass from yourself to break free from the situation you're currently in. In that sense, have a nice rest of your Tuesday. If you've already had your Tuesday, have a good night. Leave your hands above the blanket. Stay safe, stay sound. Tomorrow we'll be back for the birthday bash. Stay safe, stay tuned. See you tomorrow. Bye, folks.